What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Impact and Chill. John here with you, along with Aaron. Aaron, here's the thing, man. We have literally graduated into another realm
Yeah, we have.
in our podcast series. And we have an amazing guest that I've had the pleasure of speaking to a little bit before this, and I'm happy and proud to call him a really good friend of mine. He's taken care of our family through the years. And so what we're doing now is we're introducing a series where we actually have decided to bring on guests that are going to add fire to this next round of podcasts, brother. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce him, Mr. Eric Sanchez. Eric, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Feeling
man.
blessed, brother. Thank you guys for having me for sure.
Yeah, Aaron.
Welcome to the show, bro. And man, we're going next level, eh? We're going to bring the heat. So
Yes, sir.
I hope people are ready to listen to this epic conversation. You know, I've seen a little bit of Eric. It's awesome to kind of see him, not face to face, but virtually. But man, I can't wait to hear the story. So, dude, let's go.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? This podcast, dude, as you know, is going to go a lot of different directions. We're gonna ask you some questions, just kind of get the ball rolling, and we'll just cruise from there, man. Because I know you have a powerful story. First of all, man, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. You know who you are and what you do, and take it from there, man.
Yeah. So my name is Eric Sanchez. I grew up in North Denver. I am the owner and operator of A&C Customs. I offer window tinting for automotive, clear bra, vinyl wraps, accessories, pretty much anything that has to do with vehicles. I also offer residential, commercial window films as well. Anything to take care of the house and the cars and good and enjoying the comforts, of what they bring. So
go see this man. Let me throw it out there. Go see this man. But tell me a little bit about that, Eric. Like what, I have my second question kind of goes back a ways, but I mean, since you kind of brought it up, man, how did you kind of get started in that field?
Oh, it came from my dad. I mean, growing up, I was always around cars. I mean, I had probably more little model cars than anybody could ever possibly imagine. I know my mom hated it. I just was always around cars. My dad was, he used to tinker with his stuff, put different wheels. We go to yard sales. Hey, do these wheels fit? You know what I mean? I just always been into cars. I absolutely love it. I love
phenomenal, dude. And that actually kind of brings me into the second question, man, talk about your environment growing up, man. What kind of upbringing did you have? I mean, again, you can share as much as little as you want to, but definitely want to just get a little bit of history. Man, how did you come up?
I grew up in a single home, with my mom and my brother. It, for the most part, it was good. I had a good life. I was very blessed. We were pretty spoiled, for a single mom doing her thing. The earlier years were, they got a little rough. You know what I mean? I probably seen things that, a child probably shouldn't have to see. You know what I mean? Being that little. I had to deal with a lot of domestic violence. With my mom. Okay. It got tough there for a while. You know what I mean? There was a point where, I didn't even know if my mom was alive. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It definitely got dark there for a while. But into my teenage years, it definitely got better. It didn't last forever, thank God. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was good for the most part. There were some tough spots in there, but it definitely was good.
So just want to quickly ask you a question there, Eric. Yeah. At what age did your parents split or divorce?
I don't recall. I was still pretty young, so I don't really remember them ever being together. But it wasn't like a family unit growing up. Like my dad left when I was 6 or whatever. I don't really remember them ever being together.
So the domestic violence side came after
After my father, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you know, my mom's ex-boyfriend, you know,
right.
it was a bad thing
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Just kind of getting a picture of and trying to get other people listening to this how it would have looked, and it makes like it wasn't your father that was doing the violence.
No, it was not my
So
father.
okay, and that makes it even harder because it's not your
Yeah,
dad. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Right.
like who is this guy that came in, you know, to my world and completely wrecked it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? For a while there, it was completely wrecked. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I had to hear and see things that no child should ever have to
True.
experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, I overcame. I think that's the whole, you know, focus on what we do and
Sure.
in our journey is, can you overcome and can you make a better life from the dark places? You know what I mean?
And that's so commendable too, Eric, because here's the thing, man, at the end of the day, there's only two ways you can go. You
Right.
can see that and think that it's okay and that graduate into your life.
Right.
Or you can go, I absolutely would never want that for myself or my family's setup, right? My dynamic. So absolutely, brother. I mean, dude, we're on camera here. I can give you a hug right now, brother.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. And that's why I did, you know, Aaron, the reason why we talk about this first guest, you know, being so powerful is because this story, dude, right here is just, people need to hear this. You need to
Yeah.
hear where you go from the darkest place to where we're at today.
100%. You know, the sad thing, sorry, Eric, to jump in. The sad thing is that it's more common than you think. Like it's happening on such a wide scale now than we ever would have thought. And that's just we hide so many things in the closet. We hide so many things within the four walls of our own home. But at the same time, you're suppressing a lot of that emotion. And that can actually be detrimental long term. So yeah, I'm really interested to hear how Eric kind of saw his worth. Yeah, and we've got some really awesome questions and how this conversation is going to flow to see, you know, knowing what he experienced. And as you said, John, yeah, two options moving forward that could have either impacted him in his entire life, but he took that as a fuel to now be at a point where he's been watched, he's been seen, he's been admired, he's been you know, people are motivated and inspired by what he's achieved so far. So bro, with that, I know that John's got a whole heap of other things to say, but you know, I'll let you continue on with where you're at, and then we'll see where this conversation flows.
Yeah. So like I said, you know, the earlier years were pretty dark. In the environment, you know, the neighborhood that I grew up in, you know, the north side, you know what I mean? North Denver. That's, you know,
very well.
you know, 44th and
Yep.
Tejon, you know, that was my spot.
Okay.
You know, and a little bit after the, you know, the domestic, you know, the stuff I had to experience, you know, even just growing up in that neighborhood, you know, the gangs, you know,
they were heavy.
One of my uncles, you know, was a founding member of one of the biggest gangs in the North Denver there, you know what I mean? That Northside Mafia, like, you know, and I have family members that, you know, are associated with it. And, you know, I could have easily went that way. And you know what I mean? And, you know, and you get into the guilty by association, and, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, it's tribal, you know what I mean? You grew up, so that's what you are, you know what I mean? And it just, I've always been the type of person that, you know, and my mom was a very hard woman. You know what I mean?
It's awesome, dude.
It's, you better get your shit done or you're going to get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was, there was no playing in my household. You know what I mean? It's like, you're told once and once only, you know what I mean? So, I always kind of had, I always knew that right from wrong. You know what I mean? Of course, when you're a kid, you push the wrong boundaries a little bit harder, you know what I mean? But I never pushed hard enough to get into trouble because of that. Or, you know, my later teenage years, I definitely pushed a little bit harder. You know what I mean? You have the freedom. You're able to, you're driving. You have your freedom. You know what I mean? You don't have to be in at a certain time. It's like, okay, well, what can I get into?
What else can I do?
Yeah. And then there was moments for sure, bro, that I probably shouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys right now, but through the grace of God, I was able to learn and, never got caught for some of the stuff,
I think we all been there.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, I've always had, that wrong, right from wrong in the back of my head. Like, okay, well, if you do this, this is what's coming for you. You know what I mean? And I like my freedom. I like to do what I want to do. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I think that's why I left home. I left home when I was 17.
Wow.
I had my own apartment.
Wow.
I had a motorcycle when I was 17, and I was kind of bounced around job to job. 17, you're still kind of, but I had ended up getting a really good job, at Mountain States Toyota.
Nice.
And that kind of gave me freedom, to do a little bit more, because now I have a little bit more dough rolling in. So, yeah, it was definitely some fun years. And, like I said, I took wanting to be my own boss. And, you get to a point where you don't want to listen to your parents. You don't want to be rules. And
especially
my mom
at
was
17.
like, well, you don't like it, you get the fuck out.
Get out.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, later, and I never look back. I've always, and I think that evolved into me being a business owner. And, I don't want to be told what to do. I have that CEO mindset, that mind frame. It's like, look, this is my life. I'm going to live it the way I want to live it. You ain't going to tell me shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do this because I know what I want. You know what I mean? And
damn, Aaron. You hearing this guy?
I love this, man.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
Dude. And so that actually my third question, it flows right into what you're talking about.
Right.
First of all, and nobody, you guys will be hearing this on Apple or Spotify, but Eric is wearing a shirt that says risk takers. So what I really want to know, number one, is, if you could talk about the history of the shirt itself, but mainly is what led you, you kind of already answered that question, but really getting into entrepreneurship,
right.
When did that switch get real for you? We all know that you kind of passively say, I don't want to work for somebody.
Yeah.
But when did it get real for you?
I think it got real when my son was born.
Whoa.
I know a lot of people can relate back to their children or their household, the wife, the bills, things got to get paid. It's like, again, like I talked about earlier, like I don't remember my father ever being around, or when I was younger, my younger days, you know what I mean? So when my son was born, I knew that, well, fuck, he ain't going through what I went through. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not going to leave him hanging. Not saying that's what my dad did it, but in so many ways, I've always had kind of father figures in my life to kind of guide me, to where I needed to be. But I knew I couldn't let him down. I knew that, my son was never going to have to look out the window and wonder if I was going to show up, or, if he's going to have something to eat or something to wear or this and that. You know what I mean? That's when it really clicked. Like, I have to make this shit work. You know what I mean? And when my son was born, that's not when I started my business.
Okay.
But, it's definitely a driver now, just knowing that I have him looking up to me right now. He just turned 13. So all eyes are on me. You know what I mean? You see him start to follow in your footsteps and do what you do. And it's like, okay, well, we know our influences, right? And it's like, is he going to do what they're doing, or is he going to, am I going to be the prime example of what he needs to do and show him right from wrong and stuff? So, yeah, my son is a huge driver for me. And I started working when I was 13, at Fino's Custom Wheels. So
I know that place too.
I started cleaning toilets, you know what I mean? And I'd always see the bay doors open and the cool cars, and it's like I want to be back there.
Yeah.
I don't want to clean these toilets and stuff. But yeah, I can't fuck up.
Yeah.
This is all on me.
Well, you're the
I have to
boss,
make it work. Yeah,
right?
for
That's
sure.
what
So
we talked about.
right.
You're the boss. And so, you know, Aaron, you got anything to add on that, man?
Yeah, and I love that. John and I talk about it all the time. I've got a 22-year-old son, and we talk about like the role that we're put in once we've had a kid. So 13 years down the track, and when a child is born, there's not a love in the world that comes close. And yeah, we tell ourselves that we will be there for them through thick and thin, and we'll be there for their lives, their entire lives, as much as we possibly can. So I want you to kind of explain what kind of relationship do you have with him now? He's 13. We know what 13-year-old kids get up to. I mean, have a look at what you got up to when you were 13. Fuck, I remember what I did. Like I was literally punching on with my father at that time. So what relationship do you have with him? And now how more I guess pressure are you putting on yourself to like make shit work?
I mean, we have an awesome relationship. I mean, I get to be proud dad moment here, but I always get compliments on my son. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, like that's your son. Like he's so respectful. He's so, helpful and this and that. And I'm like, it feels good to know that I'm putting everything into him. Not I'm not, we say we want to give our kids everything we never had, right? But I want him to know and do things the right way and not give him everything I never had. I want to teach him everything I never learned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him to be, to know that, hey, my dad's responsible. Like he's making this work, and it feels good for him to look up to me and be able to provide that for him. You know what I mean? And I work a lot. I work, crazy hours. So we don't get to spend, a lot of time, especially in the summer now. It's like, hey, I gotta go to work, like gotta go to grandma's or stay home or this and that. But he definitely understands what it's all for. You know what I mean? He's so appreciative. We went school shopping today and he gave me the biggest hug, like, thank you, dad. I'm so grateful and stuff. So it definitely feels good, and we have a tight bond, and he knows like, hey, I'm not just out there fucking off. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you and provide a life, for my family that I didn't have. You know what I mean? Because I had to struggle. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just like a lot of us had to. But I don't want to take the struggle away from him. Even when he asked me for help, he's like, "How do I do this?" I'm like, "Figure it out." Yeah. And I'm not doing it to be an ass, or I don't want to help him, but I want him to be able to use his mind and critically think and like, okay. And then when he does it, it comes out way better than he would have thought it would have came out. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a great relationship that we have.
It's interesting that you say that, Eric, because most parents, the first thing you do is you just want to save them.
You want to, yeah, exactly.
You want to, make sure they don't slip and fall. You want to go, hey, I've been there, done that. So maybe you should try it this way instead. And it's almost like when you do that, it's almost like that, what do they call the helicopter parents, where you're just kind of hovering over, making sure.
Yeah, you take away their ability to think and figure out the situation, and I forced that on him, and some people might take it as, oh, yeah, you're being a jerk. Like, why don't you help him? It's like, no, like, watch when he comes back, how much happier he's going to be. Like, holy crap. Like, not thank you for not helping me, but look what I did.
Look what I did.
Like,
yeah, it's almost proud.
Right.
It's on his part that he figured it all by himself, right?
Without you. Like, you didn't need my help, but if I would have did it for you, then you wouldn't have learned.
What did you learn?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that goes back into me being, with the business and stuff. Like, I fuck up a lot, you know what I mean? But I learn, and I there's days I get down on myself and I'm like, shit, this ain't gonna work. Like, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then when at the end of the day, when everything's done, it's like, oh, okay, well,
it actually wasn't that bad, right?
You know what I mean? And me, I'm so laser focused all the time. And I, like I told you before we started, like I'll overanalyze the bowl of cereal, you know what I mean? But I have to be that way. I have to be laser focused because, in order for this to succeed and for me to continue and spread the joy of what I do to other people, like I have to be focused.
Damn.
Man. And
Damn, Aaron.
yeah, that's that, like, deep. That's teaching your kid morals and values, which have been lost in the world right now. And I love that. And, you know, you're not being a hard parent. You're actually teaching them the values of life moving forward. And really, I want to open up to you, because you've had to do some work to get to where you are now, so you can pass that on to your son. Now, I'm going to put it out there that your son is a complete reflection of all the work you've done and where you're at now. And that's hands down the absolute truth. I'm being real there. Yeah, and with people commenting on how amazing your son is, how polite he is, and, you know, just being really helpful with other people, that's a reflection on you. That's a reflection on the work that you've done, and the shit that you went through as a kid. So how do you work on yourself? What do you do to get yourself in a space where, yes, you need to provide for a family, but you've also got a business to run, and I'm sure, and it's a growing business as well. So what do you do on the daily and John and I talk about it. We talk about routines, rituals, and habits. Like, what are your go-tos? What do you have to do, and what has to be achieved every day, every week, to enable to remind yourself that you're constantly moving forward?
I think that's just it, Aaron. Just for me, it's keep moving forward. Like, I have to be busy. I have to get up. I have to, you know, like we always talk about, check those boxes and get shit done. You know what I mean? If I'm not moving, if I'm not working, like even my days off, like I'm going crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to work. I just tell myself, you know, when I wake up in the morning, like, let's go. Like, let's do this. We got to kill this day. We got to win the moment, and we'll worry about the rest of the stuff as it comes. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. But I'm going to open up a little bit further, because we know that there is shit that goes on that we can't control. There's there's a hurdle that's going to come up. There's something that's going to fucking throw a spanner in the works. How do you cope with those situations? Because it happens. Like in business, we run businesses, and so we know that there's shit that's going to come in that we're like, where the fuck did this come from? So yeah, how do you cope with those situations?
I think I just try to I take it in, and it's not like, sometimes I completely implode. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy shit, you know. But then I try to stop and think like, okay, what just happened? What can I do to fix it? And keep moving forward, you know, and just not letting it completely destroy me is the biggest thing. You know what I mean? Again, all I could say is just keep going, just keep getting after it. You know, I deal with it as it comes. Yeah, I find a way. That's the biggest thing, is I always find a way, no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, how crazy it is, how anything, I just always find a way. Like, there's something inside of me that will not die. It will not give up. I make it happen. I have to.
You know what's interesting about that, Eric? I'll even say this too, man, is just listening to, you know, the passion in your voice. You're undefeated, bro. You just put that out there, and we are undefeated men, right? We may have gotten our asses handed to us and continue to on a day-to-day basis, but we've all gone through some trauma. We've all gone through some pain. We've all gone through some victories, and we are straight up undefeated men. So the fact is that you can actually get smacked in the mouth day in and day out and go, fuck, I don't know if I can do this anymore, and you still get up and do it. That's an undefeated man right there, bro. Put that down on the next podcast, Aaron.
Yeah.
Undefeated man, brother.
Yeah. And it sucks. You know, there's days where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I get so down, and I'm the hardest person on myself. You know what I mean? We're our own worst critic. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, like we said, it probably wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's just pick it, you know, pick ourselves up and just keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and you know what? That's that high achiever in us. And, you know, we've just trademarked that high, you know, undefeated. That's been trademarked. They can't take that. But yeah, that's the overachiever in us. That's us, that we're just such high achievers because we know we deserve so much more than what we currently have. I mean, and look, it kind of brings me into a bit of a follow-up question with what you were saying. You know, we all have dreams. Every single one of us has a desire in how we want our life to look. So I'm not going to ask you like what your dreams were when you initially started the business, because correct me if I'm wrong, but where you are now, did you ever envision that you would be where you are now when you started the business?
I always knew this was what I wanted to do. Obviously, I didn't know. We were just talking. I was telling John where I seen an old friend of mine yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, everything's going good. Started a business, working on myself, and he's like, "Well, how long you been doing it?" I'm like, "Oh, 5 years." And then I looked at my formation date yesterday, and it's been actually 7. So I'm like, holy crap, like, no, I never thought, like, it feels like I started yesterday. um but like I said, I've always been and always will be a man that gets what he wants. You know what I mean? um I didn't know I would have so much acceptance from clients, and I guess a want for my services, and just to interact with me. You know what I mean? Like, even you guys, invited me to be here. Like, I never dreamed. Like, I love podcasts. I'm always listening to podcasts, but to actually be here and having people want to listen to me and who give a fuck, like, it means the world to me. You know what I mean? But um, I always knew I would make it because I have that drive in me. I have that dog that just will not quit. So do I think I would become this far? A little bit, and
Yeah.
that's not
Oh
being
yeah.
cocky.
Oh,
Um,
say it, brother.
but
Say
I'm
it.
just getting started. I haven't even scratched the surface yet. And I'm looking forward to so much more with this. You know what I
Love
mean?
it. Now, I'm a big firm believer of everyone turns around in an interview, they go, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
your 5 year plan. The 5 year goal doesn't work. I even look at it and go, even a 12-month plan, we don't even know what's going to happen in 12 months, let alone what's going to happen tomorrow. But from a business perspective, and I'm going to go and I want you to follow up with personally as well. So on a business front, where's the plan for the business in the next 12 months? And then for yourself on a personal level, where do you see yourself being in 12 months' time?
Still grinding. I mean, it's hard to focus on the future when you're so focused on the present. You know what I mean? I
We
like
talk about
to,
that. We talk about that. I
yeah,
love it. Yeah.
right. And I like, we talk about win the day. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm not worried about yesterday because, everything I went through yesterday is either going to make me or break me for today. And everything I do today is going to lead into tomorrow. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be still doing this. I'm still going to be providing the best experience for my clients. And personally, it's the same thing. I'm gonna still be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Truly and genuinely me, giving my heart and my soul to my customers, because at the end of the day, the money is extra for me. You know what I mean? If I could provide an experience, the look on, even your face when you picked up
Yeah,
the
man.
truck, like seeing it tinted and the bed cover, you're like, this is my truck. You know
Next
what I mean?
level.
Like, that
Next
is the
level.
biggest driver for me and my clients, the response and the reactions, and like, holy crap, like, this is mine. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? It looks so different, and just interacting with my people, and that gives me the confidence and the joy to continue moving. So in 12 months, 12 years, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna be giving it my all.
Awesome. What's been your biggest lesson to date in business?
Um, my biggest lesson is that sometimes it's gonna suck. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
love that.
It's gonna suck and it's gonna be hard, but the biggest lesson is if you don't give up, you're gonna keep moving forward, and it's gonna be even more fruitful than you could ever imagine, as long as you don't give up. The biggest lesson is just keep fucking going.
And don't believe them,
Yeah,
right?
don't
Don't
listen
believe
to
them.
anybody. Don't believe what they say. Um, like I said, always find a way. You know what I mean? Always find a way. Is the thing is it. It's gonna go back to what we said earlier. It's, things are gonna happen, but just keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Don't quit. Don't listen to the naysayers. And you'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Dude, fucking epic. I'm loving the story, and man, I cannot wait to see where this thing goes for you from a business point of view. So, anyone that wants to follow not only your business but yourself, where do they find you?
I'm on Instagram. It's AC_customs with the K. I don't do any other platforms really. Just kind of throw it out there on Instagram. You know, like me and John were talking, I feel so blessed too, coming as far as I've come without advertising, without putting myself out there. You know, it's all word of mouth. Like, you know, I spoil my clients, you know what I mean? And they
Yes,
tell
he
the next
does.
person, and they tell the next person. And you know, I've not only been doing the business for 7 years now, I've been doing this for, you know, 20 plus, you know what I mean? There's still people with me that I tint their cars, and I just tinted a client's home recently that were with me back when I was tinting out of a pop-up shed in my backyard. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're still my clients till this day because, you know, they believed in me. I gave them an experience, whether it was in the backyard, dusty, dirty.
Yeah.
I probably don't want to see those cars nowadays,
Yeah.
but you know, I still continue to improve and on my craft, and they're still with me till this day, and it feels amazing.
Well, that says something about
Feels
you,
amazing.
man. It really does.
Right.
That's absolute fire.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and I know Aaron kind of touched on this a little bit, but what advice would you give somebody who's just breaking out from the very day one? Hey, I want to start something. I don't have money. I don't have resources. I don't have time. I have a full family. What advice would you give somebody that's just fresh off?
Jump. Fucking jump. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's, you know, we're, like I said, we're our own worst enemy. Sometimes we tell each other when things get uncomfortable, we know what to tell ourselves to bring us back up and get us out of that comfortable situation. You know what I mean? But I say just do it. You know what I mean? Follow your dreams. If you have something, even if you fall on your face, just keep going. You know what I mean? Just don't stop. Find a way. You know what I mean? Don't listen to anybody. And when you do decide to go for your goals, um, people aren't going to understand you. You know what I mean? You're going to seem crazy to other, you know, to some people. You're going to lose people. You know what I mean? Like, I lost people that I'd never thought I thought they were going to have my back no matter what. You know what I mean? Family, you know, parents, like, it's like, damn, I thought you would have been there to support me, you know what I mean? But you're not, you know, and now it makes me proud to know that since I didn't quit and I didn't give up on my goals, I'm miles ahead and those people are still in the same place, saying the same shit, doing the same thing, you know what I mean? It's like, you never went for anything you were supposed to or you wanted to go to. You never experienced your dreams, and you're gonna fucking knock me for wanting to pursue mine.
Damn.
It's not gonna fucking happen. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna stop me. And if you don't want to be here for the ride, cool. See ya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've had family tell me, "Oh, you're gonna fall off your high horse one day. You ain't shit with all that money," and you know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Don't believe them,
That's
right?
cool.
That's
You
what
know
we
what
say.
I mean?
We keep
Guess
saying.
what? I'm still here. I'm not gonna stop no matter what you say. You know what I mean? I will never fucking stop. And that's what I could tell anybody who's gonna go for something is never fucking quit. Never listen to anybody. If you believe it, you can achieve it for sure.
Man, that's the character of a man.
Damn, dude.
You know, and this is the first time we've actually had a conversation. You know, you're going to have a whole new lot of people respect you on such a massive level. I'm a fan of yours already, or halfway around the world, on the other side of the world. You know, you're going to have a whole lot of other people like see you for the man that you are, not from what you've created, not from your business. It's like you, your character, and who you are. And a lot of people will resonate with that. They love what you have, but the man that you've become, they can't fucking take that away. And I love that. And it's been an absolute pleasure having this conversation, man. Been an absolute pleasure.
I appreciate it. And that's the thing. A lot of people see the glitz, the glamour, the this, the that.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys have no idea. You know what I mean? You have no idea.
You don't realize how much sleepless nights, how
Exactly.
much money you've had to risk, how much time you've had to spend away from your family. You just talked about it with your 13-year-old boy. It's like you guys have the best relationship. He understands your grind. He understands your hustle, but you also have to trade some time in order to go build something beautiful for him. And that's just fucking admirable, bro. Yeah, it really is, man. Dude, hey, I'm calling it right now. This right here is shooting to the top of the list, man. This podcast right here has been fire, brother.
There's been some comments that Eric said that I'm like, we might as well just end the podcast there. You know, we just ended with a one shot.
Straight up.
It's been fucking gold, and it's awesome to hear someone else coming from the same place that both myself and John are coming for, and for us to have this conversation, man. You got raw there, you got real, you got emotional, and you know, it's hard for a lot of men just to come from a fucking truthful place and be real. So thank you, brother. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy. And, you know, for you feeling safe in the space of being able to express yourself as you have, I thank you. It's been a fucking pleasure. So at the end, obviously we will be, we're going to tie this up in a little bit, but what bit of advice do you have for anyone out there? Can be anything you want, can be personal, can be business. Like what's a closing comment from you, brother?
Always find a way. Always find a way. Never give up.
Business, personal.
Anything. If you want to, you know, lose weight, if you want to do this, you know, I've lost over 60 pounds. You know what I mean? I don't drink. I don't drink anymore.
What the hell?
You know, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. Like I said, if you're gonna go for something, and to each his own, but for me, pursuing this and being able to provide for my family and to have a future in this and go all the way and last a lifetime, hopefully, like I have to be clear. I have to see the vision, and I don't need anything else blocking that, you know, any substances, anything like that, because at the end of the day, if shit falls through and it doesn't work out, the only person I have to blame is myself. So just keep going. Always find a way.
Oh, this is
men of the sword, dude. Men of the sword. Well, iron sharpens iron, bro. I mean, this. You know what? I'll even say this, just my own personal on this. Eric has made it a stamp. Aaron, I don't know how you feel right now, but I feel like we belong here doing this, all based off of this conversation. Now, I mean, I've had my visions and I've had my goals and everything else, but I'll tell you, bro, it's just your words, man. We belong right here, right now, putting this out worldwide. People need to hear this message.
I agree. And we're going to have a follow-up conversation again. And, you know, I know that these next 6 months are going to be insane for you. But like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, harping it on. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to listen back to this podcast in awe. You've inspired me to keep chasing and to never give up. Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. John, been amazing, brother. Thank you.
Brother, hell yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. And a virtual hug out to you, Aaron.
Yes,
bro.
Sir. Thank you.
Back at you.
All right, guys. Hey, share the show. You're going to want to share this one. Impact and chill. Got real impactful and real chill at the same time. Eric, thank you so much, brother.
You guys,
amazing episode.
Thank you, guys.